Hey, I just wanted to share something with you. Right? I have realized at my big age is that I have celebrated everybody except for myself. I have celebrated everyone's accomplishments and everyone's, triumphs and, all these things that people have accomplished in their life. And I have celebrated with them and I have loved on them and I have encouraged them and did all these wonderful things. But you know what I realized? I never took the time to celebrate myself. So my question is, when are you going to celebrate you? When are you going to take the time and say, wow, look how far I have come, right? Look where I used to be this time last year. Look how I was, 10 years ago. And look at me now. It's okay to be proud of yourself, not in an arrogant or cocky sort of way, but it is okay to look back and say, wow, look how far God has brought me from. I am going to learn to celebrate me. You have to learn to do that. Don't get my age and realize, hey, I haven't celebrated my success. It could be success in terms of maybe you've raised your children, or maybe you graduated from college, or maybe you've taken care of your parents in their old age, or, maybe you've had a promotion at work, or maybe you've, been there for your family and been there for your friends. That is something to be celebrated because maybe you put your life on hold for someone else, or maybe you were busy going on with your life and you put your life on hold maybe to take care of a friend or take care of your mom or take care of your parents. It may even be something that you used to be fearful of in the past that you're no longer fearful of. And now it doesn't frighten you anymore. It doesn't have any control over you anymore. Right? And that could be a person, or maybe it's a abusive relationship that you escaped from. Right? It could be anything. You look back and you say, wow, look what the Lord has done. All right, maybe you had low self-esteem. Maybe you suffered from depression, and maybe you can look back and say, wow, God, you have soothed my heart, right? You have comforted me when I was down, when I was sad, when I was depressed, and look at me today. Listen, those are things that we should actually learn to celebrate. We should be proud of ourselves, and we got to look back and say, you know what? Look how far the Lord has brought me from. Right? And say, wow, I am so proud of myself. Again, and not in a cocky sort of way, or, I'm this and I'm that. No, not that kind of way, but just looking back over your life and you say, you know what? I am so proud of me, right? And one of the things maybe you could be proud of is, I used to drink an entire bottle of liquor. That could be your thing. But now I only drink half. Or maybe I don't drink at all. That is a big accomplishment. That's something that we should be grateful for and thankful for. Or it could maybe be something like, I used to be I'm talking about myself now. Okay, I used to be a people pleaser. I used to always want to please people, and I used to always want to be liked. But then when I look back, I said, wow, God, look where I am today. So it's so important to, celebrate you, celebrate your accomplishments. Don't take that for granted, because you know how many people never make it in terms of maturing? Do you know that some people in their, maybe even their 40s, 50s, 60s, they are still the same way that they were when they were in their 20s? That's true. But you want to celebrate all of those accomplishments, the way that God has matured you and molded you and shaped you into the person that you are on today. Now, that doesn't mean that we still don't have work to do. Of course we do. But that'll be until the Lord comes back. But just celebrate those moments. Of course, there's still things that we need to work on and things that we want to accomplish. But for right now, right? But for today, just look back, right? And think about how far God has brought you from, okay? And just praise God. I could have, went off on this person that did something to me, but you know what? God gave me the strength not to do that. God gave me the strength to maybe walk away from a relationship, or walk away from a family member, or walk away from a friendship, or walk away from a job. And that's something to be proud of. It is okay to celebrate yourself. Learn to, look back over your life and just say, wow, you know what, God? I am so proud of me, right? And I am so proud of what you've used me to do. And I'm so proud of the way that you have grown me up and you have matured me. It is okay to celebrate you. Celebrate how far God has brought you from. Think about it. Even if you think about, listen, where you were even maybe 6 months ago. We don't even have to go back years, right? Even 6 months ago, you could say, you know what? I would have responded this way, but you know what? Look, I'm maturing, right? I didn't respond the way that I used to respond, maybe to my husband, or maybe to my, significant other, or maybe to my family members or my coworkers. I didn't respond the way that I used to respond. Look what God has done. I am so proud of me, right? And it was okay to do that. We should celebrate ourselves. We should celebrate our accomplishments, but we have to realize that our accomplishments and our achievement come from the Lord. It does not come from our own strength. We have to recognize that. But listen, pat yourself on the back. Be proud of the way that God has matured you and to make you the man and woman that you are on today, because I'm sure that you're different than you were maybe 15, 20 years ago. Maybe that seemed like a long way, but just think about, the milestones that you've accomplished along the way. Just think about it. It can maybe your weight, right? Maybe you've lost weight. You're eating more healthy than you did, 10, 20 years ago. That's something to be proud of. Sometimes it's the little things that we should be proud of. It could be something like, oh, well, I didn't have the strength to, make this goal that I had, but, I made the goal. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I went out and I did what I said that I was going to do. But anyway, so I hope that you are proud of yourself, and I hope that you learn to celebrate yourself and honor yourself, of course, with, knowing that God has brought you from a long way, okay? God bless you. Remember, do not ever give up before the miracle happens. God bless. Bye.